The German government denies using the biter set, but Mikrowski is sure it works.
That's one approach to the problem. But there's a more likely solution. The Russians might be trying out a form of over-the-horizon radar, which would allow them to locate incoming objects with accuracy, even if they're totally out of line of sight.
One analysis says every woodpecker pulse carries a sophisticated code. Each pulse lasts 3,100 microseconds. Over a sequence of 100 microsecond intervals, the signal is counted as a 0 until it reverses phase or direction. Phase reversal changes the 0 to 1. Each reversal alters 1 to 0 and back again until all the pulse has been transmitted.
The final list gives what's called a maximum length pseudo-random binary sequence, a unique code. The signal is returned from an approaching object. It can only be used if its pattern matches precisely the pattern of the transmitted signal, a sort of key that fits into a lock. The result gives a radar system which can see 5 times further than any ordinary radar power, or 5 times more accurately at the same distance. There's certainly no connection with Tesla and the magnifying transmitter, but ELF, extremely low frequency, will be important for the United States submarine fleet in years to come.
Could submarines be protected development of Tesla's wireless work? Submarines are at their most vulnerable when they approach the surface to communicate with their headquarters. To change that, the US Navy is building 2 giant wireless stations up near the Canadian border in Wisconsin and Michigan. Each of them will radiate under 4 watts, just enough to light it, but the power behind each transmitter will be enormous. The station at Clam Lake needs 2 aerials, each 14 miles long. That's because the signals, like the woodpecker, will go out at extremely low frequency, ELF, which requires special arrangements. Because ELF is low frequency, it takes time to send a message, but it does penetrate the ocean depth. Vessels like the newly launched Ohio will be able to receive operating orders without ever rising to the perils at the surface. Most Teslarians believe man described ELF transmissions in his patents, and that the US Navy went back to those patents for the concept. But what did Tesla actually say? It is necessary to employ oscillations in which the rate of radiation of energy into space in the form of Hertzian or electromagnetic waves is very small. The lowest frequency would appear to be 6 per second. All credit to Tesla for even thinking in this area. It was clear from the context that he was describing the sending of electrical energy without wires through the earth and not the sending of radio waves through the sea. And at the beginning, scientific cult, based on what seems to be understanding of Tesla's. The problem for modern Teslarians is that Tesla himself got it wrong. His experiments were based on inaccurate theory. Power transmission without wires can never be made to work efficiently. It was search for the Holy Grail, and it failed. He never had another success. And as time went on, his behavior became more and more obsessive. By the 1920s, his only real friends were pigeons. He came here to Brown Square in New York to feed them regularly. Particularly a favorite one of his, which he loved like a brother. He socialized only once each year, his birthday, when he gave a party for journalists who were looking for gee-whiz stories. Tesla gave them the lot. Weather control, death rays, interplanetary messages. At the same time, he is needed from the role of serious scientists. The sad thing is that he did still have brilliant ideas for the future, but nothing to do with electricity. In the 1920s, he designed this vertical takeoff aircraft. The pilot's seat swivels to keep him upright when the plane trims for horizontal flight. Ridiculous? Not at all. How about this experimental American aircraft, the Convair Pogo? He planned to power the plane with another of his inventions, the bladeless turbine. The idea went back nearly 50 years to his childish design of a water wheel in the stream near his home. The machine works both as a turbine or pump, using an effect called boundary layer drag. It's now being manufactured in California. The working part of the pump is the rotor, and the liquid or gas go in here. The boundary layer effect forces it to the outside of the spinning discs. The discs revolve extremely fast, and at the beginning of the century, the metal Tesla used wasn't good enough to avoid stretching under the strain. That problem has now been solved by C.R. Purcell, the reinventor and improver of Tesla's concept. His 5-horsepower machine throws 100 gallons of water a minute, but the device's real value is its amazing flexibility.
This pump has a unique capability of pumping a wide variety of materials. For instance, we pump half-inch diameter rocks up vertically 65 feet in a small amount of air. We also can pump live fish from the nets in the ocean right up to the cannery without damaging the skin of the fish at all. We pumped a Trub sludge for a brewery that was 82% solids, which I believe is a world record for this type of pumping. This idea of using boundary layer drag is Tesla's basic idea.
But Tesla is mainly remembered today for the wrong reasons, for the things he didn't do. Why have his real achievements suffered such a total eclipse? Well, at one level, he had little interest in commerce or selling his ideas. Unlike Edison, Westinghouse, or Marconi, he left no company behind him with a vested interest in promoting its founder's name. Then, he was not willing to discuss his ideas with his colleagues. Instead, he gossiped to journalists. But most of all, I think, he had no university contacts, and he never published his results. Had he done so, his work would have been used as a major reference work for students for at least 30 years, and Tesla's name would have been listed amongst the immortals. Tesla died in 1943, out of phase with his world to the last. Only 5 months after his death, the United States Supreme set aside some of the Marconi claims to have invented wireless. Other people, Tesla included, had done the work first. But his best memorial is not wireless, nor is it the work done in his name. Instead, it's all around us, in the world of electricity. He left to lighten our darkness.